All right. All right. Let's get on with this live stream. Just checking the audio one last time. Just got to wait for the stream to catch up, and then we'll get right into all of these news updates for this week. And good morning to Marcel over there in Germany. Good to have you here. Okay, looks like audio is all working. This lag is always going to kill me, but I'll just keep the comments in the background. So if you are watching live, you can join in on the comments there. Ryan, good to have you in the chat. Ada Street Bets, good to see you here as well. Thank you everyone for joining. I've got a few news updates and I'm going to jump around to different screens at the moment as well. I'm trying to play some videos this one, so see how this goes. Haven't tried this before, but we'll see if it works. So let's get into the news items for this week. The first one here is around FutureFest. Now, this was a lot of fun. Now, please leave a comment if you did join in on FutureFest and experience what it was like. But far out, this was quite an event. I absolutely loved the whole vendor experience that they put together, all of these different projects that were in there, the sponsors as well, and all the different spaces where they had presentations and everything. So they had one area that was blocked off for big presentations, and then the two music event spaces as well. And you could go around and experience all these things. It was a roller coaster, all these really cool things. But let me just switch over to this other video here, and hopefully this works. And you can see exactly what's going on. So let me switch over the video here. So this is just a little clip of my experience when jumping around the space. Let me just press play here. And you should be able to hear that.
On my story, get 100 points in the message.
1 second. So here I was in, I can't remember that. This is an adventure space one here. Let me just fast forward this a little bit. So hopefully I can see the name of the project. I can't see it. Totally forgotten the name, but this was so cool because I was listening in
where I'm standing
on the conversation here between these two people.
It's a 3D and interactive puzzle.
So just as
you can play it from pulled up here,
a market or a real life vendor kind of experience, a showcase when you're going to events and stuff, you could hang around and listen to other people's conversations and get an idea of what the project's all about. And I absolutely love it. Let me just play this a little bit.
And JPEG store.
Oh, so these are like those big, elaborate 3D puzzles that they have now, right? Is that what this is?
Yeah. Yeah, so we...
And just hovering around the space and listening to other people's conversations and learning about projects like this, it was such a really good experience. Let me just fast forward a little bit. And I think over here, this was the...
milestone.
Disco Solaris booth, so you can actually hear the music. That was pretty cool too. And going around, I had a conversation with the guys over in the Canucks publishing area as well. Hero Pool was there. A lot of familiar names in the Cardano ecosystem was there. Now, this was the actual live event space where they're doing interviews. Let me just play this real quick.
To your last point, I'll say that if you're not sure about whether or not now is a good time to list your asset, hit us up. We'll have a conversation with you. We can talk about it and ultimately help.
So absolutely amazing space. Like if you've experienced any of these live event spaces, such as on the Cardano Summit, it's a very similar experience, but the creativity in the actual environment itself was something to really, really showcase and really experience. Now, this is one of the event spaces here. Let me just play this one real quick. So I think that's just background music, so I shouldn't get hit with a copyright infringement. But this is a Ferris wheel that they built into the metaverse. There's a roller coaster that goes around all the places. And you can also ride on the jet skis down below. So, you know, FutureFest, hats off to you guys. This was by far the best virtual event experience I've ever had. So let me just switch out of that and get back to the news items here. But if you guys experience this as well, I'd love to hear your comments about it. It was by far my best experience. Yeah, good to see you guys in the chat too. All right, let's get on to the other news items. Again, FutureFest, thank you for putting on that event. Now, my next news item here, this is around Charli3 and the Oracle, and they're teaming up with Infinity Pools. So I mentioned Infinity Pools last news roundup, and they're doing a little bit more of the staking side of things. So if you have an NFT project and you're looking at staking mechanisms and whatnot, they're doing all that for you. So they're creating the ecosystem. So if you have a NFT project and you don't want to build all that stuff, they can allow that to all happen. And I guess they teamed up with Charli3. They're all Canadian. It's kind of like a happy family there. But now you can stake your C3 cuties. I never got into that project, but I might have a little look into it. But you'll be able to stake their Charli3 cuties into their Infinity Pool ecosystem and earn some tokens around it. So you can lock your NFTs by the policy there, and you get 30% ROI in C3. So you can earn a little bit more C3 from this particular process. So it's a nice little way, a nice little added utility to that particular NFT. So nice addition there. Now, if you don't remember, this was the Infinity Pool's website. It's still coming soon, so still early days. I believe there is an AMA coming up with them. I might be joining them on this particular space to learn a little bit more about the platform and let you guys know exactly how to use this, and how, if you're an NFT project yourself, you can jump in and actually start playing around with it and deliver some extra utility from your NFT project via this platform. So pretty cool what they're doing. Now, this is really brand new. These guys here, Stargazer, they're a yield aggregator for Cardano, and I thought I would just bring this one up. Now, I have absolutely no idea who is behind it. They don't have much of a website or anything yet. Let me just pull up their website. They're just got a Discord and a Twitter at the moment. I did join the Discord. I'm trying to find out a little bit more about the team and who's actually behind it all. But the idea and concept of a yield aggregator is pretty cool. And they're starting off with something pretty stable with stable coins. And you'll be able to provide liquidity farming through using stable coins, and they will look for the best places to place that liquidity to optimize your yield around it. So it's an interesting way of doing things. I kind of like it. I guess there's a lot more smart contracts and mechanics around it, so maybe a little bit more risky to actually start playing around with. And I can see something like this working within wallet ecosystems, so such as Eternal. Marcel, you're listening, right? So if you're jumping in and you've got a yield aggregator integrated into your wallet and you just don't know what platform to use, whether it's Muesli Swap or MinSwap, Wing Riders, etc., or one of these synthetics that you need to get into, if you can just provide liquidity through your wallet and start processing things that way, might be a lot easier for a lot of people to get into the Cardano ecosystem for the first time. Instead of doing research or everything, you can just get a yield aggregator to do all of these things for you. So it's a really interesting way of going about it. But it is still very early days. I still don't know who these people are, but the idea and concept of it all is really cool. I know this exists in other ecosystems already, so having these things and the market and the Cardano ecosystem maturing to this point is actually really good. Now, I also mentioned this last week, but there's been a lot of reactions and movement from the announcement of Aiken going through their alpha phase and relaunching their smart contract language on the Cardano ecosystem. So this was quite a big announcement last week, and a lot of people have been playing around with it, and it seems to be the future of smart contracts on Cardano. Now, I have to mention, it's not just Aiken. There's other programming languages or DSLs that are built on top of Cardano Plutus that will make this all possible, and it's really cool. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But this is some of the reactions from developers and key people in the ecosystem, and this is Andrew Westberg. He started playing around with Aiken as well, and he's done the first Hello World smart contract with Aiken, and I believe he's quite impressed. And if you have a look at Avatar Nick from Saturn NFT, I love this statement here. The Cardano smart contract era started when they released their alpha, in my honest opinion. And wowzers, yeah. So it's a spicy take, I guess, on it. But the barrier to entry for developing on Plutus was quite hard. You had to learn Haskell and all that. But having the Aiken there in its place to actually develop on and have little things like this. So here, Nick mentions But after running a full on-chain contract test with a single Aiken check command, I was blown away. So a lot of this stuff, when you're developing any program, you'd want to have all these type of checks and automated processes, so that when you're developing in your IDE, it's a lot easier and a lot quicker when you're going through it all. So you know if you're making mistakes, if there's typos or whatever it is. Having this all there just makes it so much easier, and it really is at this point where we are seeing it's so much easier to develop. So that's why Nick's had this statement up here. Where is it? Smart contract era started when the alpha released. So that's really, really cool. Now there's also a long thread here as well from Plutus Plumbus. I'll put a link to this in the show notes so you can read over it. It's a little hard to read. There's a lot to go through here as well. But this was a post from Kotors in Discord about Aiken as well, so you can learn a little bit more about it and some of the technicals behind it too. Now, I did mention a little bit earlier that that is more than just Aiken, and I think I've covered all of the programming languages, the DSLs that are building on top of Cardano at the moment. So to make all those smart contract things easier. I'll just list them off really quickly here so that you're aware of them. And the first one, of course, is Aiken, and then you have Martify with their mesh platform, where you can quickly download some starter code and get a dApp up and running really quickly and easily. So that's a lot of the front end code and whatnot. Then you have the TypeScript one here, and that's PluTS. You have the Helios one, which is apparently really easy to read. It's a human readable smart contracts for Cardano. Option, which is the Python version as well. And then we have the Plutus application backend with Atlas, which the team from Genius Yield had put together. And that just makes all of these tools combined, just makes the development on Cardano so much easier and better. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more and more development come out of this space, and more developers use these alternative languages. Now, this one I haven't checked out yet, but Jay Crypto did a video on coding with AI and Aiken. So using AI to actually code up your smart contracts using AutoGTP. So this is an interesting one. If you've seen it, if you've watched it, let me know, but I will be digging into this one a little bit more and finding out how you can use AI to actually code smart contracts for Cardano. Is this the point where we're getting at, where we can use AI to actually code everything and look for mistakes and everything else? Pretty cool. Really interesting space we're in at the moment. Maybe we'll all get replaced. Now, this is this is absolutely mind-blowing. NMKR have been doing so many things, and just to have a look back over this first quarter of this year has been absolutely stunning. Let me just go through this. This is crazy. I really looked over this and I thought, oh, well, that couldn't have been this year. It must have been last year, but they've delivered so much. So let's go from the top and just list this off. So first off, they're NFT marketplaces. So this is the white label marketplaces where you can go in and create your own NFT marketplace using their platform and embed it on your website, essentially. So there's a lot of projects that are using this at the moment. Project Noom is one of them, where they have their music marketplace on their website using the NMKR platform. So that's absolutely amazing. They partnered up with the UN Refugee Agency to deliver their NFT series with the team from Turf. So that was a pretty cool announcement. They did their Zapier integration, and I thought this had to be one of the biggest integrations for their platform, or one of the biggest things that they released, I should say. Being able to integrate in NMKR, the NMKR NFT platform, with anything else in the Zapier ecosystem is absolutely insane. You can do some crazy things from having users import data into a Google Sheet, or using a Google form that will populate the Google Sheet. That Google Sheet, upon each entry, can create an NFT or something around that, or add them to a whitelist straight away. So it automates a lot of those processes, and where you would have to use a developer or someone very technical, you can easily not dumb this down, but simplify the process using Zapier to make a lot of that easier. So I absolutely love this integration, this announcement that the team have put together. The new music store I did mention a little bit earlier. This one here, their dashboard and software as a service thing around it, that is absolutely amazing. I thought this was last year's announcement, but being able to accept ETH and Solana or Sol from their platform as well. And this is really cool because it's onboarding people from other ecosystems. So if you're holding ETH or something like that, or Sol in one of these other wallets, you can connect it and then actually start buying some Cardano NFTs straight away. So really good onboarding process there. Then we have their own NFT collection, the Seaplanes. Now, if you didn't know, there was a mint, I cannot remember which mint it was, but there was a capture problem and Seaplanes kept on being thrown at people over and over again, hence the Seaplanes theme here in their NFT. Yeah, a lot of people do have this NFT series, and it gives you a whole bunch of little benefits such as discounts when you're minting the NFT, any NFT project on their platform. So it's nice to have, and a little tip that you can have your Seaplanes NFT in a wallet that is staked to the NMKR pool, and then you can start minting off that when you're participating in mints with various projects, and you get those little discounts. So it's kind of nice to have all those mechanisms in place. Now this one here is pretty cool, where you can purchase NFTs with any token, and this is mainly around like using JED or something like that. And that ties in nicely with their integration with JED here as well. Then we have some other projects that they highlighted and teamed up with, such as Whiskey NFTs, which is a crowdfunding whiskey cask ownership. And there's so much more here. It literally just keeps on going and going. We've got the InvestCH that they did an interview with, Optim Finance. They did a partnership with Newcast, and it just keeps on going and going. They're going into the sports. What else here? Anyway, Vespr. But as you can see, I won't go through all these. If you want to get into more detail about it, you check out the thread. I'll put it in the show notes. You can get to learncardano.io. It is seriously impressive what they have done just this year. I love this one here, the AI documentation. That's just a no-brainer, adding that in there. So it fills in all the gaps within your documentation. So if it's not searchable, it's not working correctly or in the best way possible, let AI fill in the gaps for you. Absolutely amazing. Just checking the comments here. Yeah, Marcel NMKR is one of Cardano's MVPs. I totally agree. I don't think we appreciate what NMKR have done for the Cardano ecosystem enough. It really is one of the backbones to allow all these projects and all these ecosystem partners to actually go through and deliver what they deliver. So thank you so much, Patrick and the team there at NMKR. Yeah, like I said, so only this quarter, that was amazing. Now, you saw there in the NMKR update that they did integrate Vespr, and I've been looking into this particular wallet on Cardano as well, and specifically at the moment, just a mobile wallet. Let me just load up the website so that way you can actually see it as well. But they've got an iOS and Android app already, and it is a very slick interface. I have to say the user experience and everything around it is quite nice. They do have the SIP30 integration as well. So if you're wanting that DApp experience, you can go through and use it on your mobile phone. So it's quite a nice wallet. I do not know who's behind this project either. It's one of those projects that is quite a little bit anonymous at the moment, but it is very nicely designed. They do have an extension, but it's coming soon. So the browser extension coming soon. So at the moment, only a mobile experience. So me personally, I don't do any DeFi, any NFT purchasing on mobile devices. The only time that I need to get a wallet working on a mobile device is when I'm at events and I need to buy NFTs, like at CNFT last year, or what is it called, NFT LV this year. I needed ADA on my wallet so I could actually buy NFTs at the event. That's the only time I would ever have it. But other than that, I don't do any DeFi at all on a mobile device. Anyway, check that one out. Let me know if you're using something like this. Okay, I'm just getting some comments here. Rokindo, founder of Vespr wallet. Vespr. Okay, I'm not sure who Rokindo is. I will have to look that up. But Ada Street Bets, thank you for letting me know. I will dig into it a little bit more and maybe get him on an interview and check it out. Now, for Marcel's sake, I'd just like to mention Marcel's founder of Eternal Wallet. They are going through a rebuild and rebrand and upgrades of Eternal Wallet as well. So I'm looking forward to finding out what they have in store for Eternal when it gets to that point. So the whole new simplified UI, new sexy design. I'm looking forward to it, Marcel. Come on, show us some sneak peeks or something. You must have something. And hello to Finland there as well. Hey Natavi. Nice to have you here on the chat. All right, next news update item here is AnetaBTC. Now they're fully on testnet. I might have mentioned this last week as well. I still have not had a play with this one yet, but you can connect your Cardano wallet on testnet. Connect the wallet such as Nami wallet, Eternal, whatever it is, and start playing around with it. Wrap some assets and move it back and forth between the Bitcoin testnet and the Cardano testnet and have a little play around with it. I haven't dug deep into this one. Again, I know I've done plenty of interviews with the team, and you can check out the playlist and whatnot on there and find out a little bit more about what they're doing. Now, I should also mention there is a little bit of a Twitter storm, not Twitter storm, but arguments and criticism, whatever it is. Now, the team behind AnetaBTC are also behind a whole bunch of other projects. I thought it was quite obvious from the naming terminology, the style of their branding, and everything else that they've done. So Frosty and the team there, so Austin is behind AnetaBTC, he's behind Tossy Drop, behind Ergo, the Ergo version of BTC, wrapped BTC assets. I just can't remember the name at the moment. Cherry Lend, and also one more, Teddy Swap. So that, is behind all those projects. I thought it was really obvious, but obviously only people are finding out now. But a lot of the code that they're using, it's not interesting. I know, I saw it from a mile away, but they're using a lot of code from other projects. So they're using open source code and integrating into their own platforms and then iterating on top of that. So is it anything new? Is it anything malicious? Should they not be doing that? Well, you look at other ecosystems, that's the whole point of open source code. I deliver my own code for Cardano Press, for example, as open source, so that anyone else can pick it up and run a competing platform. And that only drives more adoption of it and creates more interest. So I might not be the best at marketing, but another team is. And if they drive more adoption, great, so be it. But please put in a pull request, recontribute to the ecosystem and whatnot. So we'll see how this one plays out at the moment. There's a lot of arguments and a lot of fudding around all the projects. Now, just as a disclaimer as well, I hold about 3,000 CNETA tokens that are provided in liquidity on MinSwap. And that's about all I have. So I don't have any of the other project tokens or whatever it is. I had CNETA early on. I think it's not worth much anymore. And that's it. So that's my participation in any of those ecosystems. Now, this here is another interesting one. This goes on the open source kind of theme. And last week, I did mention a whole bunch of projects going open source, such as Indigo and Meld. And people did have a little bit of a digger deeping into the ecosystem here. And if you have a look at some of Meld's code that they released as open source, it does reference some code from Liquid Labs, and it's their Plutarch browser. So it's a little bit of code that they release as open source, and Meld are using it. I don't see that as a problem. Like I said, it is open source code. But, contributing it back to the original project is always a good thing, or, contributing at least feedback and comments to the ecosystem is really, really needed. So hopefully we do see that. Hopefully we do see that across multiple different projects in the future as well. That's the idea of open source, open collaboration between different developers to make better code, a better standard, a better source of all that code. Just checking on the comments here. Jesse James, yes, I don't normally do lives, but I do. I'm trying to do more of the lives because it cuts down on all the post-production. One of these videos that I do could take me 4 or 5 hours to do. I record it, then I post-production, edit it, do the audio, everything else around it. This is a lot quicker. You still get the same value, you still get the same information, but it doesn't take me as long. So hence I'm trying to do more of these lives. Peter Hegel here. Have you looked into Revuto recently? Recently? No, I have not. But I do like the project. I do talk to Vex from now and then. I do have a bunch of his t-shirts that he sent me. And I am actually supposed to organize an interview with him because he is one of the advisors for Genius X. And I do regular videos on the Genius X ecosystem and all of their people, advisors, etc. So I will be doing an interview with Vex. So if you're interested, make sure you subscribe to Genius X, their YouTube channel, etc., and their Twitter feed, and you find out when that interview is coming. What else is in the stream here? Yes, Eternal is getting a makeover. I can't wait for it. I love the wallet as it is, but you know, if you make it a little bit easier, it would be nicer for some newbies getting into the ecosystem. Okay, now this is just a little bit of fun, but I went on a Web3 experience on the weekend. This was a little bit of a yacht party. This is here in Brisbane, Australia. So we had a little bit of an event where the Web3 industry got together. We had a little bit of drinks on this little boat here, and I won a push-up competition. Yeah, push-up competition. 67 push-ups. We all did the push-ups at the same time. And the last one standing was the winner, and I managed to get to the end there. But it's just a little bit of fun. Where's the push-ups? Let me speed this up. There we go. Yeah! So representing Cardano there, any push-up competition, any event, I'm there. I'll do it. Just a little bit of fun. All right. Now this one here, Summon Platform, they are going through their launch. Please join us as we launch Summon Platform for public access, and ready to unveil their premier community coordination and DAO toolset for the Cardano community and beyond. Now this is supposed to be on the 26th. What he plans for Wednesday 26th. It is the 26th for me. So this will probably be in 8 or so hours when, so it's about 2 a.m. in NYC at the moment. So I'd say any time soon. 8 hours from now, we should be able to see the Summon Platform launch. Now this, if you don't know, this is all the DAO ecosystem. So if you're wanting to run a DAO, Summon Platform is one of those options that you can use to run it. So you can do all your voting through it. You can run a multi-sig treasury wallet and everything else around it. So this is definitely one of the key things that you need in the ecosystem to actually run on-chain governance. Now, I also did a recent interview with a project in the Algorand ecosystem just to learn about where they're up to, and they don't actually have something like this. So all these other chains have been running smart contracts for ages. They've built large communities, have good TVL engagement, etc. But they're missing key things like this. And I love how, you know, as soon as a Cardano ecosystem could, a lot of these things were, yeah, we need this. We need our voting, and projects started building it as soon as possible. And we're actually ahead of some ecosystems that have had smart contracts way before. So really, really good to see. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Summon Platform come together. Now, I did play around with their testnet. There's some videos that I did previously in the playlists that you can check out and see what the platform's like. But seeing what they actually launch on mainnet on their platform will be quite interesting too. Now, this is a news piece in the NFT space, and you know, everyone said the NFT marketplaces are drying up, liquidity is disappearing. But this guy here spent 159,000 ADA on a Spacebudz. Yes, that's right. So it's around 61,000 US dollars over the weekend spent on a Spacebudz on a JPEG. Remember that. Keep that in mind. I don't know which one he bought. I'd love to find out. Nope, no, absolutely no idea. But if anyone knows, please let me know. I'd like to see what is worth 61,000. Hang on, I reckon I can find this out. Let me just go here. This shouldn't take too long. It should be in his wallet. There should be some activity here. Purchase, purchase, purchase. Wow, there's a lot of NFTs in here. And okay, and there's a couple of quite expensive Spacebudz purchase. There it is. 159,000. Let's have a look at this one. What is worth 100? A bull. Okay, of course. I don't know how the rarity on this is calculated. Yeah, Rulo, it was a bull, but I'm trying to look at the rarity of this and how it's calculated and how this is worth 61,000 US dollars. But sure, okay, cool. Whatever. If it's worth that much, it's worth that much. It's only worth what people are willing to pay for it, and someone's willing to pay that much for it. That's great. Now, I've got a dog. What are people willing to pay for that? Probably nowhere near as much as this. Absolutely amazing. But it's good to see that, you know, the ecosystem is still there. It's still thriving, and people are still in the space. Now, this one here was an interesting post, and this is from Sea Explorer. This is some data that you get from Sea Explorer, and this is the profitability of stake pools. Now, over time, this changes, obviously, because it also relates to the price of ADA. But you can see here, obviously, with the price of ADA going down, the profitability of stake pools is gone down quite dramatically as well. Now, just trying to see it on the chart here. Let me just expand this a little bit bigger. So yeah, okay. Profitability as a percentage, that's the line there. And you can see it's gone down quite a bit. So the reward's gone down. Cost, of course, still remain the same. Now, as an operator myself, I run a stake pool with 4 nodes, 4 relay nodes, and the main producer node as well. So it really adds up over time. And you know, we've considered putting up more and running testnet. And I know a lot of people actually run testnet nodes, run more relays than we do as well. And I can't see how that's profitable in the long term. And we're a pool that actually mints blocks every single epoch, and other pools, you know, they may be running 7 or so relays around the world and not minting blocks every epoch. So they're not profitable at all. And the amount of stake pools in the Cardano ecosystem at the moment, it's about 3,000. Let's say about 700 or so are minting every epoch and making some sort of ADA. But far out, it's a tough gig to be in at the moment. And hopefully this market does turn around soon, or a little bit better than it is, so that we can see a little bit more profitability in the pools. And like this post says from Santo, the stake pools are the backbone of the ecosystem. So we need the SBOs operating efficiently and in a profitable margin, so that the Cardano blockchain can continuously run in its decentralized form. Anyway, just a comment. Now, along with the NFT space came some other ridiculousness. And now I don't want to hear any comments in the feed here that you all bought Dean tokens over the weekend. Now, this is a tribute one here from this guy. What's his name? How do you pronounce it? Mehi. But someone made a token for him. The Medi token. So it's not actually him. It's the same with the Dean token as well. Dean didn't make the token. I don't know which Dean it is, but he didn't make the token, and people are just hyping it up at the moment. And it's the same with this token here. The meme coins at the moment are just going really strangely. I know Pepe was a big talk at the Web3 event over the weekend as well. Sure, meme coins. If the big ones like Bitcoin, ETH, and Cardano aren't having their little run-ups, it's all over to these little meme coins. But anyway, it's all a little bit of fun. Just be careful what you'll get into. Now, this update here is around Cornucopias, and this is a little bit of an old one. I missed this one as well, but this is an updated thread about their host-to-earn model. So you can actually host your own games and earn copy for it. So this allows people to run a game node or a game, host the game itself, so other people can actually play the game and decentralize their little network that way. But they've got all the data here in their Git book, so you can learn a little bit more about how to actually become a node operator or a game operator, and learn about the rewards that you get from it as well. So it will cost, obviously, to run, and host the games, and it costs a CPU usage, or if you're running a server for this, whatever it is, it will have some operating costs behind it, and of course you get some copy tokens in return. Now this is a little bit different. Like when I was playing Counter-Strike, for example, if you host a game and run a Counter-Strike server, you don't earn anything from it other than maybe advertising spots in the name or something like that of the server. But other than that, you don't earn anything for it. But this is a nice little incentive so that people can actually run the game and to earn something from it. So I know a lot of the guild alliances in the copy space will probably be running game servers and allowing their players to actually participate in there, and they probably will do it through a treasury system as a group, so that as a collective group they'll be earning these copy tokens for hosting the environment. So interesting how this is all going to play out. I've heard that there's demo videos and whatnot for the game too. I haven't seen them. I tried looking for them. I haven't found them yet. And I've also seen in other tweets that the guys are getting very close to a game as well, a game launch of some sort. So let me just find it here. I did see a tweet somewhere, but they're about 30 or so. Yeah, here we go. ETA 30 to 40 days, and that was on the 26th of March. So anytime soon, if this timeline is still correct. Now, this is my last shout out for this video, and this is around the Cardano Gaming Guild. So the Gaming Guild is for everyone that is playing games and building games in the Cardano ecosystem. So this is like the little guild where you can get together with other ecosystem builders and try and fight for what you guys need for support, for development, work together on Unity integrations for Cardano and everything else around it. So if you're building something in Cardano around gaming, I highly recommend that you join the Gaming Guild and find out a little bit more about how you can contribute to that ecosystem here. So this is the guys from ADAOZ with their tabletop game. This is actual real physical card deck as well that they've put together, along with their PFPs and everything around it. So that's absolutely awesome what's going on there. And thank you so much, Gaming Guild, for putting in the efforts for doing everything there. Now that's it. That's all I have for you guys for this Cardano news update. Not as long, nowhere near as epic as some of the other ones. But if you have any comments, if you want to contribute to some of these news items, join me on Discord. This is where I actually source and put together all of my information for these news feeds. So if you want the inside scoop and get the information before I publish it on the videos, you can find it in the Discord server there, and I'll put links to it down below in the show notes. Now, if you want to support the show, if you want to support all the work that I do, you can do so. You can become a channel membership. There's a Cardano Press NFTs coming really soon, but the easiest and quickest way is just to give it the like, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, share out the video on social networks, wherever it is, so I don't have to do it all the time. All of that really, really helps. And that's all I have for you guys for this week. Absolutely appreciate you guys. Thank you everyone for being here. Anything else from the comments? Yeah, thank you, Marcel. I do like keeping this going as a live, and I will try to keep it going on a regular basis. Yes, you're welcome for the updates. Thoughts on Meld? Meld seeming a little sus. My thoughts in general. Okay, this comes down to a lot of. So this isn't the end. It keeps on going, doesn't it? I didn't spell Twitter right. So Meld, if you haven't heard, they're launching on another blockchain, AVAX, on the AVAX subnet. And they're, people are still worried that they're not going to launch anything on the Cardano blockchain and just going to move liquidity elsewhere. I have no idea. I don't know what their plans are. So Avalanche. So I have no idea what their plans are or what they're doing in regards to that. For me, if I was coming to Meld now, at not knowing about the ISPO, funds they raised, or however they're doing their business operations, seeing a project that is launching really soon on the 3rd of May, which is next Wednesday, and seeing that they're integrating BTC, Cardano, Ethereum, Avalanche, their own Meld blockchain and also Binance Smart Chain. Seeing a project that is actually launching like that and bringing liquidity from all those ecosystems together in a borrowing lending protocol, to me that sounds good. So if you take it from an outsider's point of view that hasn't heard of Meld before, I think it is quite a good and positive approach, and it's quite good in regards to what you can see and what they're doing here in general. In terms of, is this pooling liquidity, all that liquidity out and away from the Cardano blockchain and pushing it over to other chains? Maybe that's happening. I don't know. I can't really comment on that. But it is interesting to find out if it does ever happen. From what I understand, it's not. They're using the liquidity from the ISPO as DEX liquidity, or liquidity pool liquidity, so people can actually do swaps and do borrowing and lending on the platform. And I know from working with DEXs and other projects, getting the liquidity in the first place is the hardest thing to do on any platform. So if you have a really big community behind you and they're willing to give up liquidity, great, fantastic, that's one thing. But if you're performing swaps on a DEX with no liquidity, you suffer from slippage and price impact. So having that stored away liquidity ready to launch on your platform on day one is a huge bonus. If they use all that liquidity that they have gained from the ISPO in the launch and provide it as liquidity on the actual platform itself, I think that's the best approach, because it will help with the success of the platform in the long term. You don't want your own liquidity to be subject to being vaporized and liquidated on the platforms. If you have someone else providing liquidity on there in large amounts, large whale wallets, for example, it's a lot better. So that's my thought process so far on Meld. I don't hold too much Meld. I did get into the ISPO, but I think I hold about maybe 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 Meld tokens at the moment. That's all I have from the ISPO. People think I have big wallets, but I don't. I really don't. But yeah, that's my point of view of Meld at the moment. 33, Meld is fine, all FUD. I kind of have to agree with you there. It's in a way, FUD is marketing too. So it's you still got to make your own decisions based on the information that you provided. So if there's a lot of FUD going around, maybe the FUDder, the person putting out the information, is trying to drive down the price because they didn't get in early enough and want the tokens cheaper. I don't know, but that does happen. There's a lot of market manipulation out there. Sorry, this was supposed to end. I did do the wrap up, but there are some questions here. Anyone catch Meld and Bison Twitter space? I heard it was very good. No, I did not catch that. I will have to go back and try and find it and listen in and see what they said. Rulu, any updates on Optim? They seem to be missing funding for an expensive audit. That may be the case. They didn't raise huge amounts of funds. They probably could do with more people using the platform at the moment as well. But from what I understand, it's still ticking over. But having an audit across any smart contract that you do is a big bonus. It's a big tick of approval. So hopefully they do get the funds for that, so they can get that done. And if that's all in the comments, I will wrap that up. I have been going for just over 40 minutes on this live. But again, thank you everyone for joining me on this live. Like I said, I will do these more, and please hit that like, subscribe, click that notification bell, and I'll see you in the